Hey guys.
Hey, here we are. How to Start Secret Edition. We
Yeah.
just got back from something very special.
Yeah, I felt like we had to. I text Brad and I said, Brad, we have to come on and talk about this because Tom was on How to Start and we both really cared about him. He was acted in projects that I directed and projects that Brad produced and acted with him. Yeah, Brad, what do you think?
It was a beautiful celebration. So many people. It was a packed house in Culver City, at the Culver City Theater. And man, this guy knew everybody and everybody loved him. I mean, everybody, so many people spoke. His son spoke, just beautiful words about a beautiful guy. And boy, did you see all that stuff that he acted in? Wow.
I It makes me want to do like a Tom Sizemore marathon. I just want to go back and watch. I was just talking about that with my roommates. I was saying, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even know he was in a Scorsese movie."
Oh,
Like
no, this guy worked with everybody.
every and it just and he told me so many stories and you always have those regrets of like I wish I would have spent more time with him. I know you got to go to his acting class, which was amazing.
Yeah, I did. I crashed his acting class, surprised him 2 weeks before, his tragic death. And I tell you something, he told me great stories about working with Robert Downey Jr. when he was 19 years old. I mean, he worked with De Niro and Pacino. I mean, he worked with everybody. And there's one thing I noticed. If you noticed one thing about him, in the playbill that that there's great pictures of him in there. You know, acting is all in the eyes. Man, he had eyes. If you see his roles, it's all in the eyes. I mean, when he turns it on and he turns it off, it starts with the eyes. And he was just phenomenal. Wasn't it cool when how many books this guy read? Oh, remember?
That was true because on set, because he was on set with me several times. At least I worked with him at least 3 times on different movies, and he always had a book with him. And it would just, there'd be this book lying around, like, oh, there's Tom Sizemore book, and it was a big book.
Oh yeah, this guy reads all the time, all things all the time. And his manager spoke about Book Soup in West Hollywood, how they would go there and he would buy like hundreds of dollars worth of books, and he'd read them all.
Yeah.
I mean, the manager Charles would say, "Why are you doing this?" And he goes, "Well, I like to read," and he really read. God, amazing.
Yes, yes.
He
For
was
those of
quite
you who are just tuning in, we're talking about Tom Edward Sizemore Jr.
he was
Uh,
a great actor. Some of the iconic movies of the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and we both got to work with him and get to know him. He was, we have to say one thing about him, Lauren. He was quite a character. I mean, he
oh,
was,
one of a
right?
kind, one of a kind.
Yeah, they broke the
And
mold.
definitely, if you meet him, you will remember him, and he will touch your life. I The
Yeah.
first time I worked with him, Tom, I was a little bit starstruck, and I was just like, this guy's, he's just been in such big movies, but he really just made me feel like, he just made me feel comfortable and at home, so that I was able to act with him, and we talked and we got to know each other, and he was just such a great guy.
Yeah, he was a guy's guy. I mean, when you told me, see, you surprised me. You said, Brad, I want you to be in this movie that I'm directing, and I'm really excited. And this big time actor is gonna, I want you to be in a scene with him. And I go, "Oh, okay." And I show up, anything for you. And I'm waiting and waiting, and then all of a sudden, Tom Sizemore walks in. I'm like, "Whoa, oh, I better bring my A game." And we hit it off, and it was just great. It was great. It was like we knew each other for years. You know, I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. You meet him for the first time, and you think you've known him. Like he's an old soul. He's definitely an old soul.
Oh, and
And
I feel like he's still here. It's so weird. It's like I can't believe he's gone. I feel like his soul is still here for some reason. I
yeah,
feel like he's still around. It's weird. His energy was just so big. But yeah, if you look at all these people who left comments, all these famous actors
oh
commenting in
yeah.
the book, was
I
really
mean,
great.
it's just fun. I mean, he left us way too soon. He was on a comeback trail, boy. He
Yeah.
was really. I mean, you heard the movies he did in the last year of his life. And
Natural Born Killers.
oh God, he was so good in that. And just to see him age, I mean, he aged well. I mean, even though he, lived a tough life, he really, he looked great. I mean,
Yeah.
he always asked me, "How do I look?" I go, "You look great, man. How old are you?" He goes, "Oh, I'm 61." I go, "What? You're not 61."
Well, he was very like before he would come to set, he'd be like, do you guys have someone to cut my hair and do my hair? I was like, well, we're a very small budget, but I can try. And he was just like, no, I need a real person to cut my hair. I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
So.
I remember him. I remember he wore suspenders in our scene, and his suspender kept popping off, and I kept putting it back on for him because I'm a team player. And he was, "Hey, thanks, man. Can you help me with this?" I go, "Yeah, sure, no problem, buddy." I go, Tom, we got you. I got you. So we had this bond. I was actor slash costumer slash his personal assistant. And I just had a blast working with him. I mean, he was just. Working with a legend. I mean, it was so much fun.
Yes. Thank you, Lexi. Thank you so much, guys that are tuning in. Mark, right now, if you're coming in, we're just covering an actor that we both worked with who's, Golden Globe nominated. I think Oscar nominated.
Yeah, Oscar nominated too. Yeah.
Just an amazing, talented man who passed away too soon. Time Sizemore. Really.
March 3rd, he passed away this year. And it was great. When I went to his acting class, he didn't know I was going to be there. And he walks in and I just goofed on. I go, "Is this the Will Smith acting studio? Where the fuck is Will Smith?" And he's looking at me. He goes, "Brad?" I go, "Who are you? Are you Will's security?" And oh my God, I got him real good. And he loved it. He just loved it. He went with it. And then I stuck around, and he really loved to touch. Remember I think it was the producer who talked about how he went to every young actor and tried to help them with their role. I think it was in Sacramento or another smaller budget film. I mean, he's all about giving and teaching, and he really enjoyed his acting class, and I could tell. And the students were really attentive, and they kind of were a sponge. I even turned to one. I said, "You better listen to this guy. He'll make you a better actor." And he sure made me a better actor.
He definitely touched a lot of hearts and a lot of people. The ceremony, guys, was at the Culver City Studios, and honestly, you go in there and it looked like a Broadway show. Like, look at his face on the playbill. Like, if I die, I want something like that. Like, his manager deserves an award for throwing him the best going away party ever. Like, that was really so special and so sweet. I've been to a lot of memorials, and I've never been to one that, it was very meaningful and beautiful.
Yeah.
It was an event. It was like a bar mitzvah.
It was a bar mitzvah. I mean, it was Tom's bar mitzvah. He's not even Jewish. It was so great.
Yeah.
And it was great. They left the best for last. He had twin sons, and one of his sons got up there and spoke about his dad and their relationship. And Tom was like, he was like a little kid. He's like Peter Pan. I mean, really, when you really think about it. And he loves sports. I mean, when we did our stuff, we were going to possibly do a TV series together as cops, and we're doing a chemistry sizzle. And he was just, I mean, it was just funny because we talk sports, we talk this. It was really improv, but he was so knowledgeable on so many different subjects. But the best thing for me was, and my writing partner was with me today because we wrote this great script called The Force. The funniest thing is when they talked about how he loves brushing his teeth, because whenever we met him for this project, he'd bring this suitcase, and we're like, we didn't even know what was in the suitcase. I mean, it was like, what could be in there? I mean, Tommy boy, what are you doing, buddy? And like, he'd get up like after the meal, he'd go, "I'll be right back." And we're like looking at each other like, what's going on? What is he doing? And we come back, he goes, I brush my teeth 3 times a day, and you should too. I floss. I mean, oh, it's hilarious. Look at my teeth. And then he says, "I've never had a cavity." I go, "What? You've never had a cavity?" He goes, "Nope." It was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah. When they said that, that's what my dentist says too, is that there's no reason for bad teeth.
I know.
So I was like, oh, he's quoting my dentist right now. But yeah, I never looked at Tom's teeth, and I kind of wish I had. I'm going to go back on the movie footage and look at those close-ups. But
Oh God, he has great teeth. I took a long look at those when I was doing our scenes, and I'm like, man, you got great teeth. Are those what do you get when you get fake teeth, when they file them down and you get what are they called, caps, or what are those teeth called when people, like movie stars?
Veneers,
Oh,
yeah.
veneers. Yeah, I go, are those veneers? He goes, veneers. It's my real teeth, man. Oh, it's so funny.
Mark Owenby said he met Tom once on set and remembers him putting him in a headlock and giving him a noogie. I could see Tom doing that. I can definitely see Tom doing that. And guys, if you're tuning in and you know Tom and you have a funny Tom memory, please leave it in the comments down below. I loved hearing all the memories of Tom. There were so many people there that had worked with him, that had known him from different parts of life, from the beginning of his career to the middle of his career to the end of his career.
Yeah.
And there was just one common thread, is that everybody was very emotional, and everybody said that, he had a heart of gold.
A lot of people got emotional. A lot of people have great stories. The common theme was the teeth, and that Tom was a little crazy, a little cray-cray. But all great actors and all great artists are a little cray-cray, right? They are.
One thing that they brought up, Brad, was that they said that Hollywood just kept chipping pieces of his heart away, which I definitely, it just, as being an actor, you can kind of relate at the same time. And I think, I've never been on the level of stardom that Tom has. He just, he's a superstar. It's very hard. So I feel for him that he had to go through all of that. And I definitely think that, it's, some people can handle success differently, and it could be really hard. And just seeing how it hurt him, it makes you really look at things differently.
I agree. No, I mean, just because you're famous and have money, that brings on a lot more problems. I mean, a lot of people, I think, came to him for favors and loans and help, and and from some of those stories, it was hard for him to say no. That one guy, in reference to the heart thing, he wore a heart is inside our body, but he wore it outside his body, right? That's why they got him. They got to the heart. But God, man, the stories were just endless. It was just so funny how the stories that he told, you would think they're all true, but he embellished these stories. Remember when he dropped off his niece at school? Oh my gosh.
When they were saying those stories, then I was thinking, like, wow, because I always believed everything he said. I was like, wow, were all those stories he told me about Scientology a lie? Like, I don't know.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, he had a ton of crazy stories, and a ton of stories about different women celebrities that he knew as well. So I just was like, what is it?
Yeah, we don't know what's true or not, but let's just say they're all true. Okay, let's just, in honor of him, we'll say they're all true. Now he lived a life. He was 61 when he passed, but I think he lived like 5 lifetimes. He did so much. He traveled the world. He told me, and all these movies, and the story. It was funny when he was going to Sacramento for his manager's assistant, and remember they were saying, "Oh, am I going first class?" Or no, some other story about him going first class or coach, and the producer lied to him and said, "Oh no, I booked you in the first class," but he made sure he flew first class. He didn't want to fly coach. Now, Tom was smart. Tom was a smart guy. He really knew how the game was played.
And definitely how to treat people. Like, I mean, I've had managers, but I mean, the way his managers came and talked about him. I think he had 3 different managers, I guess, that were speaking. It was like they were his best friend. He took them to set. He introduced us, the first one, that's the first manager, to Steven Spielberg. It's like, wow, like it could. I really wish I learned more from Tom Sizemore, and I spent more time. I wanted to go to his classes, but I was just in New York, and I just, even hearing the stories that people said, I learned a lot. I was like, wow, they're right. Like, he's right. So, yeah.
Wasn't it funny when they told the story about how I think it was him and Val Kilmer got in a fight or something. Like
Was
they
it Val
were.
Kilmer or Mark Anthony?
No, this was Val Kilmer. I think that they didn't get along. I think Spielberg was directing or something with Saving Private Ryan, and they were gonna throw down, and Tom didn't like one thing. Something happened. They started fighting, and then all of a sudden they broke them up. And then Spielberg goes, "All right, action." He wanted that. He wanted that intensity. Oh my
Yeah,
God!
yeah,
Brilliant.
that
I
definitely.
thought that was great.
Yeah,
Oh
that was
God,
great.
Spielberg
And that's,
acting.
honestly, I don't remember if it was it. Did Spielberg direct Heat, or what Michael Mann?
Michael Mann did he? Yeah, Michael Mann
Yeah.
did.
So yeah, Michael. So I think that was like that just shows you though, like the
Yeah,
direction of telling him, doing that moment before it happens, and it's
yeah.
real. He is real.
No, I mean, Tom was definitely a character. He, 1 minute he could be like just, "Hey, how you doing?" talking football, and then the next minute just go off. Getting into his character. I mean, he was so method. He had different ways. He used to tell me how he got into different roles and different situations where he wanted to bring the best performances. So he was definitely ahead of his time. And wasn't it cool when they talked about when he was 15 years old, he saw Taxi Driver. Then he went
Yeah.
back to the movie theater every week and we saw it like 100 times or something to watch De Niro when he was
Yeah.
15, something like that.
Yeah, De Niro's great in that, but that's
That's what
that's a great actor.
yeah, when he decided to be an actor. Yeah.
So Mark
But
said his famous words on set was, "What the hell, guys? Let's work." I
yeah.
could see him. Did he say that at all?
I don't know. He said a lot of things. I didn't hear that one, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
No. One thing he did when he showed up on set, he worked. There
Yeah.
was no effing around. We're all lucky to do what we do, and he led by example.
Yeah. Yeah, and he was just so good and real in the moment. I have so many funny outtakes of you and him in that prison cell, Brad. Oh my goodness. It's really funny.
That was great. No, we improv. We got it done for you, and that was a great day. It was a wonderful day, and he had just come from another movie. Remember, he
I
came
know.
from another
He
movie to
was
do your movie.
he was working like crazy. He
Yeah.
was just doing as many jobs as possible, and he was just, you looked at his reel and you're like, wow. And you listen to the stories of how he just, had such a great memory and would work on the scenes, and it would just become second nature, better than what was on the script. And that was
Oh,
Tom Sizemore.
that's one thing I talked to him. I go, do you like acting by the word on the page, or do you like to, you know, do your thing, making it better? He goes, absolutely making it better. Any writer that wants me to go by his words only, I don't like that. I like to make it better. And he still gets the credit, the writer, right? I mean, but I'm making it better. That's why you hired me, and that's what I believe too. But oh God, today was a special day. I felt his energy there, like you said. I felt he was there with us as he was on the big screen the whole time. And but all those movies, all those amazing scenes he was in, even though he maybe didn't have big parts in some of those big films, he was memorable in
Yeah.
everything he did. But we definitely lost. We lost an icon. We lost a giant. We lost a special guy. You know.
Yeah.
But he was definitely on the way up. It just maybe, I think, the message here, if he was to tell you, live your life, do what you want to do, be, if you want to be an actor, be an actor, do it for you. You only got one life. And this guy, Thomas Edward Sizemore Jr., only lived till 61, but he had a full 61. But
Yeah.
I'm so glad we were there today, right?
Yeah, I was so happy. Thank you, Brad, for telling me about it, because you stayed in touch with everybody, and Brad told me about it. So thank you so much. I was able to go and bring my friend Sally. That was fun, and just see.
Oh God, Sally, she's a character. Yeah, she had a good time.
Oh yeah, she had a blast.
Oh,
And
good, good.
just like getting to see his kids and just see all his friends and see what a great person he was, and see him again. It's just his story. It was beautiful, a beautiful way to remember him.
Yeah, it's amazing about I always like somebody who maybe celebrates their life while they're living. My brother-in-law's father did that, because you want to know what they've done in their life and the people they touched while they're living and they're sitting there, rather than when they're not with us anymore, you know? So today I learned so much about him that I never knew, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And,
Rest in
and
peace, Tom.
I'm so glad you were there, because if it wasn't for you, I would never have met him,
Yeah.
you know? But I hope your audience liked us sharing what we experienced today with Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, I felt like because he came on our podcast that we had to kind of, you know, talk about this moment, because we, you know, we both are friends, and we both went to his ceremony, and it was a tearjerker. There were a lot of people crying, and
Yeah, there was,
you
I
know,
teared up. I have to admit, I teared up
yeah,
hearing the story. But when I saw his son up there at the end talking about his dad, he got emotional, and I chimed in with him. You know, it was tough, because he's only like 16 or 17 years old, and he's a great basketball player, and his dad was so proud of him. I think he's going to go to a major university and play basketball, so he'll be watching from actor heaven. He'll be watching over all of us. But thanks, Lauren. This was fun.
Yes, guys. Rest in peace, Tom Sizemore, guys. You know, let us know in the comments if you ever had any experience with him, or if you know of any of his movies. You can still follow him too. But yeah, I'm Lauren Francesca.
I'm Brad Grunberg. We'll see you again on How to Start. Thanks,
Bye,
Tom.
guys.
We love you.
Love you, Tom.